Yeah, we're up in our silo here this morning. This is a silo that we had capped last fall and had plastic on it. I already pulled the plastic off. The silage right under the plastic wasn't bad. There was some dry stuff on top of the plastic that was really dried out and dusty. There's a little bit of bad stuff right around the edge of the wall. We'll go the whole way around and fork that in and run some off the top to throw it out. Just feed it to dry cows and heifers where it's a little bit questionable yet. But anyhow, yeah, it settled probably, 10 feet from where it was when we leveled it off. But we still got a lot of silage in here. This is a 24 by 88 feet, so there's probably, it was down 6 or 8 feet from the top of the wall. So we probably got about 75 feet in it maybe. Yeah, it's kind of foggy in here, or dusty. We got masks on so we don't breathe much of this stuff in, but yeah, we got probably, maybe a little bit we have to run out and get rid of between the stuff that was dried up on top and the stuff that was a little questionable around the walls, but shouldn't be a whole lot. But right under the plastic, it was beautiful. Other than right around the walls, there's a little bit of spoilage and the dried stuff that was on top. Yeah, it's all set up and ready to run. Yeah, we're cleaning out heifer pens again today. We're up here at the farm where my son lives. We're hauling it over here on a field, and where we took them rocks and woods out, just covering some of the ridges with these. Yeah, we had cleaned this barn out about a month ago, but we wanted to clean it out here right before we plant corn again, so everything's cleaned out good for the summer. Yeah, these heifers, we just left them out yesterday. They're all enjoying out in the field. Nice dry ground and green grass. Coming back for the next load. Yeah, we got the pen all cleaned out and bedded up again. Last fall we had baled up our soybean straw. Am I ever glad we did. We still have maybe about 50 bale of it left. Yeah, we weren't sure how it would all work out for bedding, but yeah, it's ended up working out a lot nicer than what we thought. It's a little bit harder. Like, we always shake our bales apart with the skid loader. And compared to corn fodder, yeah, it kind of comes apart in clumps. It takes a little bit more to get it spread around in the pen. If you work with it a little bit, and then when the cattle come back in, they run around and tear everything up good. So I was saying about being glad we baled that soybean straw. This past year in our area it was a little drier, so there wasn't near as much corn combined. Yeah, that's why we would have baled our soybean straw to start with. We didn't have near as much corn to shell. We didn't have quite enough even for our earleach, so we bought a little bit of earleach off of a neighbor guy. And then we normally have some to shell dry to put on storage for calf feed, and usually a little bit to sell on most years. But this year we didn't have none of that, so we didn't have near as much fodder of our own. But then even in our area here, there wasn't hardly any fodder for sale. Normally there's corn fodder that guys will sell, and straw. Because of that, straw was higher in price. So yeah, I'm very glad we baled our soybean straw. I think we baled 220 round bales, and yeah, we ended up covering most of all of that ground, if not all of it, with pen pack manure. So we pretty much used it for bedding and then hauled it back out with fertilizer in it. So, but anyhow, definitely saved us a lot of money not having to buy that much extra soybean straw. And we're actually finding out the soybean straw is almost more absorbent than corn fodder, and don't have to bed some of the pens quite as often. But we'll still mostly use corn fodder whenever we have it available. But it did make really nice bedding, and we have around 50 bale or so of it left, and we got a bunch of corn fodder. We didn't even hardly use any of the corn fodder this winter. We've been using mostly soybean straw. They like getting put back in a pen that's freshly bedded. Well, good morning. This is Saturday morning, April 19th, but we were talking about all the springers we were having. We had somewhere here recently I mentioned about having over 30 in the springer pen. We had 4 born during the night. There's one of them. Over here lays 2 more. Let me see, where's the other one? I think it's one over here. But yeah, the interesting thing is all 4 of them are bull calves, which that's not all bad with the prices they're bringing. Let me see. Oh, over here it lays. Yeah, it's a red and white Holstein laying over here along the wall. You can't see it real good with the lighting here, but yeah, earlier here, a couple days ago, we had 5 calves born, and I think 4 of them were heifer calves, and 1 was a bull calf. So it's kind of interesting how they come sometimes in groups like that, but we have several more here that are really close. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a couple more fresh here in the next day or two. They're talking about a front going through here tonight, and then it's supposed to get really warm today, up in the 80s, and then tomorrow's going to cool off and maybe only be 60, I think, high in the 60s, but talking about a little chance of rain. We could use another good shower because it's been kind of windy and hot. Yeah, there's another one that's really close. That white cow there, let me see, she's coming in with her 3rd calf, I believe. A couple more heifers here. They're fairly close. That one's back a couple of days, half a week maybe yet. Yeah, there's just quite a few in here. There could be at least 4 or 5 calves born in the next couple of days, 2 or 3 days. We have a heifer over here, that spotted line back right there. We moved a group of heifers home from up there where my son lives, where we have them in with the bull. She would be shortbred, and we don't have headlocks up there, and we realized when we put her over here in the dry cow barn that she's not sticking her head through the headlocks. She was over there about 2 weeks before we realized it, and she wasn't eating quite right. And when I say she wasn't eating quite right, we feed him hay and a round bale feeder, so she was getting that, but she would not have been getting any silage or grain. I'm not sure where else to put her. We could put her back up at the other barn, but then later in life when she goes dry the next time, over in the dry cow barn, she's always going to have headlocks. I don't remember her having issues when she was up in what we call the new heifer barn, where they are from about 5 months to close to a year old. We have headlocks up there. I don't remember any problem with her up there, but anyhow, we're probably going to send her to a cow sale here. She's a nice heifer, but yeah, we can't have her where she ain't getting enough to eat and ends up going backwards. That won't work either. Yeah, I just bedded the free stalls last night, and we don't put a lot of bedding on. We have mattresses, and they're really soft, so they don't really need any bedding for cow comfort. Yeah, when you step in on them, they're really soft and squishy, but biggest thing you need some bedding on the top is for helping keep the cows drier and cleaner. Feeding here this morning. I'm up here in my freestall barn and running the silage out, and the lights just turned off. I thought, well, maybe I would have, yeah, it was real lit up here yet, but I guess it got daylight out enough that they turned off. But yeah, just a little update here on our freestalls. I had mentioned there 1 or 2 videos ago about how our somatic cell count had creeped up the last couple of months a little bit, and we were starting to add hydrated lime to the sawdust, and yeah, I'm glad it's been coming down now. We dropped it down total the last 3 weeks. It came down around 80,000, so, and it wasn't extremely high. It was up in just in the low to mid 200,000. So I mean, that was high enough, but it wasn't like it was going crazy high. So yeah, we got it down in the mid 100s at this point, so hopefully we can maybe get it down a little bit more. We're also adjusting a few things in the feed to try to help work at some of that too. But we've been keeping the cows clean, but the hydrated lime helps cut down on bacteria and helps lower the pH and should help a lot with somatic cell count too. Yeah, but yesterday I did some video when we were up this silo opening it up and uncovering the top. We had covered it with plastic last fall, and we uncovered it. And we went to start running it, and it ran for maybe, I don't know if it was even 2 minutes, and all of a sudden the amp meter went flying way up high, and just like that, boom, it went down to nothing. And yeah, it was like it had an electrical short or something and just went dead. So we had called, I went up and checked a couple things, couldn't figure anything out, or didn't really, couldn't tell what it was for sure. So we, let me see. Oh, but I noticed the plug where there's a cord that comes into the unloader there, and there's a plug you can unplug and plug it in. I noticed I unplugged it and plugged it back in just to make sure nothing was funny there. I noticed when I went to plug it back in, it kind of went in a little hard and maybe sounded a little funny. So I called an electrician, and it didn't suit him to come till Monday, so I was thinking, well, we'll just wait till then. But I'm gonna go up and take that plug end apart and double check a couple things to see if it is just that plug-in. We can easily change that. So if it's not that, it's probably something on the collector ring or something in the motor. So, but anyway, we'll go up the silo again. I was up twice yesterday, and it's a long, yeah, it's almost full. So it's up there about 75 feet. Yeah, well, I'm back down where there's daylight again. Yeah, I don't climb sallows a whole lot anymore. My son, other than in the fall, whenever we're filling sallow, yeah, you got to go up and check them, and I help level them off and that kind of stuff. But throughout the year when we're feeding out of them, my oldest son, Willie, usually takes care of letting them down and all of that when they need put down a door. But yeah, in the fall when we climb sallows a lot, I said I should just climb a sallow every day throughout the year. Keep your muscles built up, and I'm sure it would be a good workout. I guess all these people that go to a gym to do different workouts, you just come to a farm and climb a sallow once or twice a day, it'd probably take care of a lot of that too. Well, it's that time of year again. We're getting things ready. It's about the 19th of April. We'll probably start here next week. It's looking like we're gonna have some really nice weather, and they're not talking about any cold weather here in the next 2 weeks, so we'll probably start getting at it. I'm out here looking at our Triticale a little bit again today. It's really growing and looking good. We could use a good rain again. I tell you, it's just been so windy this spring. We had some decent rains there last couple weeks. I guess the last we had rain was last Saturday maybe. It was kind of cool here this week, earlier in the week, but now, yeah, it got crazy windy all week, like 30-40 mile-an-hour gusts, and just drying everything back off. So hopefully they're talking about some showers tonight. Ain't acting like it's a real good chance though. So hopefully we'll get something. It's just as thick and mass as you can get. So hopefully it's supposed to be warm all next week. So hopefully we'll get some showers of some sort. Yeah, we had talked about moving this one trench wall over to make our one trench wider. We're going to move this trench wall here 14 feet. It's 18 feet wide now. We're going to make it over to 32 feet wide for corn silage. Yeah, we've had a lot of windy weather here of late, blowing a lot of stuff around, but yeah. Yeah, we had a lane up along the edge here for years. That years ago we used to go around, like drive up around here. A number of years we've just been laying an ag bag along the edge here, and yeah, we've did a little figuring, and for what it's going to cost us to move this trench wall, probably 5 years we'll have it paid for what we'll save in ag bags, and we'll have it on the trench. So yeah, we got a little pile of stone here we need to put down right where the wall will sit. You can see the orange marks here. That's about right where the wall will sit. So we're wanting to put this down, the stone down. They want 4 inches of crushed stone, right, so they can grade it off and have everything a lot easier to set it level. So anyhow, yeah, they're just about finishing up there. I forgot to do any video earlier this morning before they got started. So but yeah, they're just about to wrap it up here. At least 3 weeks of silage in this trench yet. We're emptying out this trench over on this other side. It's 24 feet wide where we've had the corn silage for years. And we're gonna, yeah, we just about got it empty. We're going to put our first cut Triticale in there. And when I say first cut, then the later stuff that we let head out for heifers and dry cows, we'll fill this center trench here. That'll probably be at least 3 weeks from now, maybe even a month. And there's another trench over on the other side there where that one other ag bag is that we'll fill with that. So yeah, that'll be, we've been talking about doing this for a couple years and decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and do it this year. We still have a little ways over on this side. At this point, we don't really need any more trench room, so we're not gonna do anything over here, but you never know what the future might hold.
I'm in our bull calf pen. This is where we put the bull calves before we send them to auction. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And here's one of the gray ones. One of the pretty ones. But it's a bull, so I guess we can't keep him. And then we have a red and white one here. And this one is a white with red ears. That's also a lineback. And this is the same. Their ears are red, their bodies are all white. They have a little bit of, you can see some of that red there on his side. And that's a red and white Holstein. You can also see their feet. You see their feet, they got spots on their feet. But anyhow, there's a group of pretty calves. This one is also, he's that gray color, but he's also a lineback because he has the white line down his back. But these are so neat, these gray ones, because see how his white hair, I'm gonna move here, but see how his white hair is longer than the gray. The gray is like really short and curly, and then the white is long, and it makes him a really pretty calf.
You are faithful, faithful through all things. You are faithful, faithful through all things. You we are not alone. You remind us to hold on to hope. When we